40%. Stop for a second and do that math in your head. 40% of what you do from the moment you open your eyes until you fall asleep is not actually your decision. That number is so large it's ridiculous, isn't it? We always pride ourselves on self-control. We believe in something called willpower, in the power of reason. But let's be honest with each other. Why does your hand reach for your phone the moment your consciousness has just returned in the morning? Why do you find yourself scrolling through Facebook aimlessly, even though just 2 seconds ago you just turned it off because you found it such a waste of time? You want to stop. You know you should stop. But why can't you? Are you being controlled by some force? A psychological ghost? Or is the willpower you've always believed in actually just a dry, soulless lie, a blind faith we cling to feel like we're still in control of our lives? If you think you're in control of the game, you're wrong. It's time we stop listening to empty promises of self-control and start looking at the truth. Do you really understand the hardware running behind your reality? Look closely at what you call habits, because we are about to touch something so alien that it will shatter everything you thought you knew about yourself. Look at your morning. The alarm goes off. You turn it off. You get out of bed, walk into the bathroom, grab your toothbrush. You brew a cup of coffee. It all happens in an absolute silence of thought. You don't have to think about how much toothpaste is enough, or how to turn your wrist to open the faucet. You are gliding through your house like a ghost. This is the autopilot state, a perfect loop where your body performs familiar dances without needing the permission of consciousness. You think you are living, but in fact, you are falling. A free fall into old, repetitive habits day after day with no escape. It is so mundane that we never stop to ask, what is actually steering when we fall asleep in our own wakefulness? But be careful, because right beneath that shell of peace an invisible controller is operating. Deep inside your brain, there's a region called the basal ganglia. Imagine it as a cosmic clock, an old but incredibly powerful butler who records every repetitive action and turns them into compressed files. When you try to change, when you want to wake up earlier or put down the phone, this butler will rebel. A real panic explodes in the nervous system. For the basal ganglia, change is the enemy, an instability that threatens existence. It will use every means, from laziness to anxiety, to pull you back to the old loop. This is an internal struggle more dramatic than any detective movie. Your willpower against a conservative mechanism honed through millions of years of evolution. And this is where things get truly insane. Do you know why the brain hands over control to this ghost of the basal ganglia? Look at the numbers. Your brain accounts for only 2% of your body weight, but it consumes 20% of the total energy you have. It is a terrifying, power-consuming machine. If every little action, from tying shoelaces to chewing food, had to go through the careful thinking of the cerebral cortex, your brain would catch fire. It would collapse from thermal overload and energy exhaustion in just a few hours. Habits are the solution to freezing time and processing space. It compresses data to save every precious calorie. The brain accepts turning you into an unconscious entity for 40% of your life just to protect you from doom due to exhaustion. Did you ever think that the very unconsciousness you hate is the biological shield protecting your life? Brace yourself, because we are about to touch the ultimate truth behind this strange operating system. But stop and look straight at the truth that is existing right in front of your eyes. What you have long called laziness, lack of discipline, or weakness of will. What is it actually? Let me show you where the truth lies. Habits are not the enemy trying to hold you back. It is not a mistake of nature. On the contrary, it is the ultimate hardware, the underlying operating system that protects you from the madness of a world of infinite choices. Just imagine, without this hardware, your life would collapse from the very first moment. You would have to spend 3 hours just struggling with the thought of which foot to put down on the floor first, how much force to use to hold a spoon, or when to blink. You would not be able to live, you could only exist in a state of total paralysis due to information overload. Habits are the speed of survival. It allows your body to react, act, and improvise faster than the speed of thought. You didn't choose habits the way you think. It was the universe, through millions of years of honing, that chose it for you, installed it deep into the source code of the brain to maintain the structure of life. It is a masterpiece of biological engineering, an operating system that protects the logic of reality from chaos. When you understand this, you will no longer look at your habits with eyes of reproach. You will see a greatness at work, a sophisticated mechanism ensuring that you can keep moving forward without having to redefine the world in every millisecond. Look at the greatest things humanity has ever achieved. A legendary tennis player swings the racket with millimeter precision in 1,000th of a second. A pianist plays the most complex pieces without looking at the keys. Are they thinking? Not at all. At that peak moment, logical thinking is a barrier. They have handed over total control to the perfect hardware within them. They are no longer controlling the habit. The habit is leading them to immortality. That is the absolute beauty of the unconscious. We, tiny creatures on this blue planet, are actually operating on a grand and sophisticated system that existed millions of years before we took our first breath. So, stop blaming yourself for habits you deem ugly. Don't look at them as scars. Look at them as source code waiting to be rewritten. You're not a faulty machine. You are an evolving entity. Truth doesn't promise to bring you instant comfort, but it brings you the key to enlightenment. You are the one holding the access rights to upgrade your own operating system. Humanity's greatest journey is not conquering the stars, but understanding the deepest laws running right inside our minds. Look again at your life and ask the question. The truth is always there, right in front of you, waiting for you to make the next change. So, what program is your operating system running today?